So, the Star Wars prequels, they were one of the more disappointing aspects of the Star Wars saga. And yeah, I think personally that not everything in the Star Wars prequels is bad. There's a lot of bad things, but there are some good things. So today we're going to be breaking down them. This is part of a 3 little mini-series of what I like and do not like about the Star Wars prequels. Today is part 1, and we're going to be covering The Phantom Menace. So, let's begin. So, Star Wars, The Phantom Menace. This movie was probably the most disappointing of all of them, because this was the one that people expected to be the best. People were expecting a lot from this film. It disappointed a lot of people. The other two weren't as disappointing, because no one thought that any of them were going to be bad. And then this one was bad, and a lot of people tried to think that it was good, tried to think they enjoyed it, but really, they didn't really enjoy it that much. Now, I gotta say something. The film starts out, and there's some things going on with these guys who sound like they're like weird. I don't know. But Newt Gunray and these guys, and you keep watching the movies, and you realize that you're watching a movie about a lot of politics. There's trade negotiations, peace treaties, Senate meetings. Now, I have to say one thing. The big courtroom where there's some senators and these people, and then, of course, the chancellor sits in the middle seat. When there's having debates in there, I didn't actually mind those. It's okay to have a little politics in a movie about war. My main problem is that they had a lot of politics. They wanted to try and sign a peace treaty and blockade routes and mumbo jumbo that I don't even care about. And the plot is that they're trying to get Padme, or Senator Amidala, no longer right now she's not a senator, she's a queen, so Queen Amidala, to sign a peace treaty. That is a horrible plot. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't deal with that. So, what I gotta say is that that's not a bad plot. So, yeah. Now, the politics does get better in the other movies, which we'll get onto in part 2 and 3. But I felt they went a little overboard with the politics in this one. Yeah, now we're going to talk about everyone's favorite Star Wars character. That is Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is one of the reasons that I'm not a huge fan of The Phantom Menace. It is the one thing that bugs me the most that I can't take. The politics I wasn't too happy about, but I was able to kind of look past it. Jar Jar Binks kind of wrecked things. I don't mind Jar Jar Binks. He's cool. My problem that makes me hate him so much is that he's so annoying. And the actor who played him, so many people were like going so much hate on him, and I'm like, you don't need to do that, really. But I have to say, it's the writing. I think the guy who played him did a perfect job. Just they didn't really give him a very good thing to act. So, yeah. Like, for example, there's this scene where young Anakin is talking to Padme, and he's saying that it's cold in space and stuff. And you hear Jar Jar, and you see him, and he's snoring in the background, really loudly. And I can't focus on the scene, because he's like, like really weird, and I'm like, please don't do that. I can't watch this scene without, like, properly, because Jar Jar is just like snoring, and it's distracting. So yeah. I apologize if I get angry, but anyway, the film, I think, these films really, a lot of people were expecting so much from these films, and they weren't that good. Yeah. Now let's get on to something that I do like. That is Darth Maul. Darth Maul is introduced in this movie And it's basically the best part of this film. It is. It's the one thing that saves this movie, I think. If this movie didn't have the good villain with Darth Maul, this movie would basically just be garbage because there'd be nothing good in it. This, I think, is the only thing that saves the film from being completely, like, trashable. I don't even know if that's a word, but whatever. I think that, really, Darth Maul is just, he's so cool. He's got a double-bladed lightsaber. Who could not like him? He's so cool. Okay, we're gonna get back to him in a little bit. Yeah, now we have to talk about the Tatooine things. I actually thought that the Tatooine stuff was cool. It was cool to bring us back to a familiar planet. And that's, a lot of people didn't like young Anakin. I thought he was good, actually. I think what I really like about his character is he's actually like a nice, sweet kid to his mom, and they really wreck that in the second film, as we'll talk about. But yeah, I thought he did a really good job. I actually think he did a pretty good job in this film, playing Anakin. So yeah, a lot of people are like the pod races are not good, and I don't mind the pod races. I thought they're kind of cool. They do end up sort of dragging on for a little long, and it's kind of disturbing to see how long they were originally gonna be, because there's like a whole bunch of sequences that were completely cut. They're deleted scenes, and you're like, wow, they were gonna be a lot longer. The thing is, a lot of people, and this is going for like I think all three of these movies, is George Lucas was so popular and he created Star Wars. He basically changed like the world. So for people to tell him, George, I don't think that's a good idea, who would do that? So he's like, pod races, and everyone's like, yeah, George, that's a great idea. Everyone will love that. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why these films aren't that good, at least the first two. Because no one really had the guts to tell George that his idea is kind of sad. So, yeah. But I think the pod races were okay. One thing that I have to give credit to YouTuber Chris Stuckman. I'll actually leave a link in the description below to his channel, because I'm nice. Even though you've probably heard of his channel before. And he pointed out that the camera work isn't that great. Most of the angles is left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. I like playing with angles. I think angles being played with when you're doing a pod race or something, or maybe a chase scene or something like that, is good to change up the angles. And I think the left to right thing with the panning left to right, panning left to right, is good, except that they do most of the battle like that. Most of the race like that, not the battle. So I think that was sort of, oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah. On to Corsica. Corsican is a really cool planet. I think having an idea to have an entire planet as city was just great. I really love that idea. And I think Coruscant is actually a great planet. It's one of the best things in the prequels, actually, I think. Especially in this movie. And, yeah. Now let's talk about the Jedi Order. So, when Qui-Gon tells him that he knows about a possible Sith Lord, the Jedi just sit around there and go, and they don't do anything about it. You're like, okay, there is a possible Sith Lord, and you're gonna sit there and let, like, they should have, like, had, like, they didn't, like, the only Jedi that didn't let deal with it was Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. They just sit in chairs all day and talk about boring things that no one cares about. So, what the heck? What? I really. Oh my gosh. What is wrong with the Jedi in this film? Okay. I think that The Jedi just drive me crazy in this film, and so many people have pointed this out, and it is so very much true. They barely do anything in this film that actually, like, really affects the movie besides turning down a kid who's a possible Jedi because he's too old. He's so young, and they say he's too old. What the heck? Some things in these movies just don't make any sense. Now, let's talk about Naboo. I want to say first thing, the Gungan Island, or the Gungan like world underwater, was really cool. I think that most of the Gungans themselves are pretty cool, besides the thing where the big guys go like that, and they like with the water and the they're like weird fish things, and then they go Misa, Misa this, Misa that, Yusa this, Misa that, No, that's just a no. Just please don't do that. Besides that, though, the Gungans are pretty cool. And I think the final Gungan battle between the droids was kind of just a CGI battle, and they didn't really mix. In The Force Awakens, they mixed CGI with real life to make it good. And I get that some things were easier to do with CGI, but they had to do it all CGI, and it doesn't look very good. And because they over-rely on CGI a lot, the CGI in particularly especially this film is quite dated, and it makes the films look quite dated because they use too much of it. And that's not good. That's bad. Like, it looks dated now, but imagine what it's gonna look like in like 20 years. It's gonna look horrible. Like, these movies are not aging well. No, they are not. Now, we gotta get onto the final space battle. This space battle was amazing. I loved it. I thought it was sort of weird that Anakin was able to like sit in the seat. The helmet fit somehow. He was high enough to see in the ship. I don't know how that exactly worked, but that's a minor thing. And I thought it was also a little interesting how none of the pilots could really blow up the thing except him. And I get that he's kind of a good pilot, but it felt a little like he was a little too perfect. But besides that, I think the battle was actually really well done. I really enjoyed the battle. And now, onto the thing that I've been waiting to talk about like this whole video. The final battle between Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is the best scene in the entire movie. I say that with perfect confidence. This is definitely, the choreography is amazing. I like the part when the shield is separating Qui-Gon and Darth Maul, and they just have to sit there, and they can't fight each other, and how Darth Maul is pacing back and forth, like, ugh, and then Qui-Gon just like meditated. So yeah, that was great. Of course, the twist that Qui-Gon dies. Wow, it was amazing. And of course, he slices Darth Maul in half. Obi-Wan. That was really cool. I really... Now, I do know that in the Clone Wars, he did survive. Yes, he did. And I mean, I really liked that twist in the Clone Wars, but when the film first came out, that wasn't decided yet. So technically, we can't say they didn't know that was going to happen yet. So it seemed like he was going to die in this film. I think that was good, because if they had planned it first, there could have been a risk that it wasn't going to seem as much like he really died. And then if we don't really buy it as much, then it wouldn't make sense for the characters to buy it as much. So I'm glad that, you know. So yeah, I mean, tell me guys down in the comments section below what you dislike and like about the Star Wars prequels. Be sure to hit the like button to support the channel. subscribe and turn on notifications, blah, 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 all this mumbo jumbo and stuff, and this and that. And okay, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Stay tuned for part 2, which will probably happen in a few weeks, where we will be covering Attack of the Clones. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Also, I have a live stream on Friday, May 3rd, and we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 9. I'm going to be answering your guys' questions. I'm going to be telling you what I think. You can tell me what you guys are hoping to see in that live stream. If you go to my YouTube homepage, just click on my home, then you'll see the top thing, even above uploads I put on, is upcoming live streams, and we'll show that right there. If you want to, click reminder, and it will remind you when the live stream is happening. So be sure to do that. Check out the live stream if you're interested. I will see you next time. Goodbye.